This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour Pharmacy and Dulux Maitland. Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV Wednesday night, and we take a look at what's happening in the world of West Bromwich Club Rugby. Of course, Eid Mubarak to our Muslim viewers celebrating Eid today. With me on the show this evening, Morgan Newman. Hello Morgs.
How's it, Japes? Good to be back here. Haven't been here in a while. I was in the hot seat while you were away. But yeah, good to be back, thanks.
Yeah, nice to have you back. Yeah, it's just me and you tonight, so we'll be taking a look at all the various things in club rugby. A lot of Super League A games to look at tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we're back into sort of call it the full swing of things again, you know. We've, I said at Rammies, we've been on a 3-week break, and so it's just nice to get the ball rolling again, and there's so much happening. I don't know how we get it into 1 hour, but good luck with that.
Yeah, well, we'll work through it. Yeah, right, folks. Of course, big thanks to our sponsors that are on board with Cape Rugby TV. Score Energy Drinks, as you know, a supporter and sponsor to West Bromwich Club Rugby and the West Bromwich Rugby Sevens. Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road, just over Voortrekker Road. And, of course, MChem 24-hour Pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. So big thanks to our partners that are on board with Cape Rugby TV. You see there Dulux Maitland behind me right now. Folks, we also went out to go and watch St. George's up against Macassar. We'll be speaking to their assistant coach, Andre McCallum. That's from Macassar. Of course, Werner Williams, captain of Macassar, and St. George's coach, Merwan Davis, as well as Kyle Bender. He's the St. George's captain. We'll catch up with them in the interviews during the course of the show. We'll take a look at the logs, the leagues, and results. And we've got our Super League A games that the coaches have sent in. And, of course, just a reminder, any club out there that if you're filming the game, you're welcome to get that game to us so that we can try and get it onto the show. So we don't film those games, the coaches are sending them in to us. And there tonight we'll be taking a look at Unimill up against Durban, Hamilton's up against Tygerberg, False Bay up against NTK. And certainly things are starting to heat up in the leagues right now. But it was over the weekend, St. George's up against Macassar. Always, and well, a lot of people said that this was going to be a derby match. Morgs, I don't know if you've been to the Helderberg region to go and watch any of these derbies, but of course there's a whole lot of clubs in that area that players would have hopped around a little. It's a little bit like the Paarl region.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have been down there, Japes, and it's a proper festive Saturday out if you go watch any of these clubs that are in the region there. But yeah, I mean, look, the result doesn't show that it's much of a derby. You know, we expect close results on a derby, but nonetheless,
yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, obviously teams, you know, just sort of jostling for position as we speak. But yeah, still, I mean.
But any club you go to there, if it's St. George's up against Strand, or Strand Pioneers up against All Saints, or All Saints up against Solarians, of course these are guys different leagues.
Yeah.
But Helderberg, there's so many, Macassar, Yesterofir, Wraithby.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're so spoiled for choice out that side of the world. You know, you would think it's a little bit out of town. It would probably be less happening out there. But on a Saturday, rugby is alive and kicking on that side of the world.
Yeah, 100%. So there's always a derby in that neck of the woods. But as I mentioned, folks, St. George's up against Macassar. Let's first take a look at the first half highlights. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour Pharmacy and Dulux Maitland. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy and Dulux Maitland. Right, well, there you have it. St. George's Macassar going into the first half then. Half-time score, St. George's leading 31 points to 6. Morgs, you can clearly see St. George's has had a taste of Super League A.
Yeah, I mean, James, there's some special tries out there. I mean, the backline moves that the St. George's backline was running. There is some serious talent at the St. George's side, and I think they'll be back into this mix very, very quickly. But I mean, just for me, you know, they mix it up between backs and forwards very nicely. I mean, the backs you can see are clearly extremely talented bunch of individuals, and then the forwards obviously giving them the platform. You know, if a forward will tell you that no backline can be effective without a decent or a nice steady base, and it really looks like they combined well, and seriously impressive. I mean, cheapers, the handling skills, passing on both sides. Some of the Oaks in Super League A currently can take a leaf out of that book.
Well, I think that when you play in a derby match like that, the guys leave everything on the field, both sides, Macassar and St. George's. And in my experience, the Macassar guys can really play some real running rugby.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think obviously they were nullified up front. It looks like, you know, that back of St. George's really nullified the platform that Macassar could have set for their backs, who also look electrifying. But also, I mean, you know, they come out there, the fans, they're standing 4 or 5 rows deep. Yeah. I mean, it's packed. I mean, isn't that just the perfect stage to perform?
Yeah. And of course, the guys at St. George's went all out this weekend. The Tyreek van der Ros and the guys, they make this, they take full advantage of every match. It's a derby match style. They put up, the sponsors are there, the braais are going. In fact, they even arranged the scaffolding for us to film from. So it really does show a derby flavour, and there are some individuals that are taking full advantage of the fact that there's going to be television coverage there on the day. Get some more out to sponsors.
Yeah, once again, you know, I mean, through the years that I've been involved with club rugby, I mean, St. George's are one of those sides that really just take full advantage, you know, the whole package. And what's nice to see is that the performance on the field is starting to match up to the hype and the excitement and the people and everything that happens off the field. So, you know, the focus for the players is between the 4 wide lines, and then the likes of Tyreek van der Ros and all those guys are obviously putting in the work away from the field to get the spectators down there. I mean, the braais are going. Yeah. Jeepers, I feel like I missed out this weekend.
Well, you had your hands full as well. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Tygerberg, of course, came to visit at Hamilton's, so we'll be looking forward to see what happened in that. We're not going to give the game away just yet.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, without saying too much again, I mean, it was a great performance outside, but the real thing is, I mean, if I look at the festivities and I look at the crowd and I just look at the interaction away from the white lines, then we definitely can take a leaf out of the books of the St. George's of this world, the Alces River of this world, and a number of other teams. Yeah,
no, the guys are certainly taking it to the next level. Let's catch up quickly before we go into the break. And remember, we do have the second half highlights to show you, but let's first catch up with Macassar's assistant coach, Andre McCallum, as well as Macassar's captain, Werner Williams. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy and Dulux Maitland.
Ek wil vir God alle eer gee. Geen ernstige besturing aan beide spanne nie. So first and foremost, dankie Vader vir dit. Ons sal nie die uitslag wat ons wou hê nie. Maar ja, St. George's was op die dag oor ons beter as ons in alle aspekte van die wedstryd. So ons vat hier verloor op ons ken, gaan huis toe, gaan net harder werk. Dit is 'n lekker gevoel. En veral wanneer jy so voor duisende mense speel. En dit wys net dat ons rugby in die gemeenskap is gesond. En ag ja, ons rugby is gesond in die gemeenskappe en jy wil net daai ekstra bietjie uitdal en gee. Soms is jy down and out, maar jy krap maar in die grond vir ekstra krag. Jy vra vir die Here vir ekstra krag, maar ag, en vandag moet daar 'n wenner wees, daar moet 'n verloorder wees. En dit was 'n harde game. Ons as Macassar het ons voorberei vir die wedstryd. Ons geweet het gaan 'n harde wedstryd wees, maar op die einde van die dag is dit dat St. George's was op die einde van die dag die beste span. St. George's was heeltemal oor ons voor, agter, langs. Dit was St. George's op die einde van die dag die beste span. Ons dink ons kan nou al wat ons kan maak, ons moet net teruggaan na die drawing board toe en kyk waar ons gefouteer het en waar ons swakpunte is en dan voortbou na die liga toe, want daar's nog 'n paar wedstryde wat ons nou eintlik nog moet deurdruk om in die liga aan te wil bly. En dit is maar nou net divisie vorentoe waar ons nou moet kyk. As Macassar se eerste keer wat hulle nou weer
in Super B speel en dis maar net 'n learning curve.
Well, it was time for us to take a look at the second half of the St. George's Macassar game. We went out there over the weekend. Always close friends of ours at St. George's and Macassar, and always great to be there. Let's take a look at the second half, then we'll give you the update, and we'll get our panel expert, Morgan Newman, to give us his qualified opinion.
Not so sure about that, Jeff. Not so sure about that.
No, well, much more qualified than me. If I look at your pedigree, if I consider the fact that you played Test matches, Springbok matches, Stormers matches, captain the junior team against the British and Irish Lions, you got a fair pedigree compared to me. I just watched them. All right, folks, let's take a look at St. George's up against Macassar, second half.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland.
Right, welcome back, everybody. So there we have it, the final result then. Fantastic game between these two teams in Super League B. St. George's walking away with a win, 48 points to 18 over Macassar, but Macassar certainly bouncing back in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, look, St. George's could quite easily have run away with that, and Macassar coming back quite nicely. You know, I mean, still, I still see great interplay in St. George's to score that try under the poles there, but it's almost a second half victory. You know, the magic of a coach's halftime talk can sometimes work wonders. I mean, Macassar can take a lot away from that second half, I think, and that can stand them in good stead as the rest of the season unfolds.
Big difference today. You mentioned the halftime talks. A big difference today. And folks, we are going to catch up with St. George's captains and coaches, Merwan Davids and, of course, Kyle Bender in a second or so. So don't go away. We'll be speaking to coaches and captains. But more, big difference today, and we were looking at this also in a recent match that we looked at where the game was not closed out at the end. But the difference in the coaches today compared to in the days of the past, the coaches and captains today are much more composed. The captains are talking strategy and logic under the poles in the middle of the game. Back in the day, there'd be lots of screaming and shouting, and things used to get pretty rough, and the captain would just be screaming and shouting. Today, the guys are talking about, guys, stay calm, run your lines, the stuff that they worked on in the week.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot more, I believe, maybe I may be wrong, but there's a lot more emphasis being placed on individuals, on game plans, on analysis, and so forth. Because, I mean, yes, you can go out there and go and physically beat teams, but every team is strong today. Every team has a strong pack of forwards. So you got to outthink, you got to outsmart. And a lot of the talk behind the poles, as the game has evolved, is technical, is tactical, is what are we seeing from our position? How can we counter it? And that's actually how we're training at the moment. We're doing a lot less physical, actual bashing and bruising during the week. But a lot more technical stuff. Obviously, there's videos which do their rounds, so we can analyze teams, know what do you expect on the weekend.
So the days of screaming and shouting are not going to help you.
Yeah, well, my team will tell you that I still scream and shout, but I'm trying to stop the screaming and shouting and be more tactical, more technical.
That's the passion of sport. The adrenaline is pumping. Everyone's very excited. But you have to remember, though, it doesn't help. You actually need to. I used to absolutely hate it when I hear screaming and shouting from the side, and now I am exactly that person. So difficult for me to comment, Jebs, but I'm working on it. All right, folks. That's rather funny. All right, let's catch up now with Mirawan Davids, of course, St. George's coach, and Kyle Bender, St. George's captain.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and the Dulux Maitland.
Soos ek voorheen gesê het, as vir ons gewees soos net nog een game. Ja, ek is verblydend as 'n derby. Dit is voor altyd ekstatiek as dit 'n derby wen is, maar ek is net verbly. Ek is net bly vir die wen. Preparation is key. Ons motto vir die afgelope 4 weke van nou tot en met tot de next 3 weke van nou af as consistency. Ons kom alles daaroor. Vir die spectators aan buite, well done. Julle was as 24, player 24. Julle het staandig gewees agter ons. Julle het gejuig en julle het vir ons eintlik gebring tot waar ons is.
We thought it would be much closer because a derby remains a derby. But the hard work that we put in this 4 weeks was blood, sweat and tears. We ran, we cried together, we pulled each other up, we just didn't want to die, and I think today it paid off. I think we just did a bit of extra. We didn't take them easy. We knew they were going to come guns blazing. We knew that they were going to come all out known as the Derby Kings. But we wanted this, we really wanted this. We worked hard and thank you.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and the Dulux Maitland.
All right, welcome back, folks. Of course, coaches and captains at St. George's and Macassar. Fantastic rugby day there. Time for us to move along. We've still got a lot of catch-up to do during the course of the show. We're going to still be taking a look at the number of the Super League A games. We'll take a look at the logs, results, and fixtures. Now, if you want to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks, 33090. That's the number that you need to SMS. Just SMS the word SCORE to 33090, and you put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score Energy Drinks and a set of double tickets to go and watch the DHL Stormers up against the Sunwolves. It's coming up this weekend. Ethan Govender, congratulations. You are this week's winner of a case of Score Energy Drinks. Ethan Govender, someone from Cape Rugby TV will be in touch with you shortly. Yes, so Score, get in the mix, and you win yourself possibly a set of double tickets. Go watch the DHL Stormers at Newlands. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV, and we will bring you the very best of what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Right, for the last few weeks, the Super League A coaches have been sending us their matches. Morgs, this is quite revolutionary. Nice to have the coaches in Super League A talking to each other. Seems to be a bit of camaraderie there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess we all want to win matches at the end of the day, but yeah, there's the coaches are, obviously sharing ideas. All the games are getting filmed, so across the board, week in and week out, coaches can analyze other teams and hope that the best team on the day wins. So very cool. I'm fairly new to it as a new coach, you want to call it that, but yeah, it's interesting and it's good. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Communication. Of course, everybody's playing for Western Province Rugby. You're all under the same dizer. Our first game that we're going to take a look at here is Union Mill up against Durban. This was a massive game for both sides. Durban's got a couple of games in hand and has to be climbing up the log, while the Union Mill, of course, want to try and stay at the top of the log. And these points now, I think people are starting to points watch. But I'll talk to Morgan Newman about that in a second. Let's take a look at the highlights here from the Super League A match, Union Mill up against Durban.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland.
Right, welcome back everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Okay, so looking then, Morgan Newman, if I go to our Cape Rugby TV app and I look at the logs in Super League A, folks are just loading this now. Of course, remember you can find the Cape Rugby TV app either on the Google Play Store or on iOS, where you can get your logs, the results, and the fixtures. Durban, of course, walking away with a 42 points to 39 win there. It's only 3 points. Morgs, UCT, False Bay, UWC, those are your top three at the moment, followed by Brackenfell and Unimil. Unimil sitting in 5, and Durban has now jumped up to 6 on the log. Let's just take a look at this game here. That's only a 3-point difference for between a Unimil who has climbed through the ranks with Ishmael Dolly and a Durban who, of course, has got a highly experienced team. I know the points went against Unimil here, but it's a pretty good outing.
Look, I mean, these are two teams that'll be very licking the top, call it that, come the end of the year. So, I mean, that's a big result, you know. I think Unimil may have backed themselves, you know. Durban may still have the backlash of the you know, the Gold Cup and so forth, but two very, very good teams in Super League A, and the result is probably a very close reflection of where these two teams sit currently, you know, very close, 3 points in it, not much happening. But having said that, could see a repeat of this later in the year when we have the top 6 going up against each other. So at this stage, you want to get into the top 6.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I know that if I just look at how many games the teams have played, UCT have played 7 games, Falls Bay 5, UWC 6, Brackenfell 5, Unimill has played 6 games as well, and Durban only 4. So Durban, in fact, have 3 games in hand behind the log leaders UCT. But I get the feeling that the coaches are now, even though there's still 10 games to play for some of these clubs, I get the feeling that they are clock watching and that they are starting to think, how many points do we need to get into the top 6?
Yeah, I mean, I take ourselves, for example. We're not sitting nowhere near the top of the log currently, but we are eyeing just getting into the top 6, because once you're in the top 6, you give yourself an outside chance of still winning the league.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about this format, if you're not winning it currently. But I can tell you now, these teams are definitely looking at just wanting to get into the top 6, because call this the preliminaries. We still want to just get into the top 6, because once you're there, then you're standing with an outside chance. And a lot of teams are, maybe only finding their feet later on in the year, and just want to get into the top 6. So it's definitely talk at our club, and I know for sure that between Unimill, Durban, they'll meet each other again before the end of the year.
Still some tough matches to go, but yes, I think the coaches are clock watching and they're certainly trying to work it out. But a good result there for both of those sides, lots of points. So just on the points factor there, Morgs, 42 points for Durban to put 42 points on, and Unimill to put on 39. That's a rather high scoring game. We're talking about just over 80 points here. Is this leaking defense, or is it just good quality attacking?
I mean, that's probably the biggest surprise for me, is the fact that the score is so high. We've played both these sides already, and defensively they're both fairly sound.
Yeah.
So in excess of 35 points for both teams is quite a lot of points to concede. So I think it's also potentially a reflection of the fact that both teams are wanting to give the ball air this early in the season. Wanting to play with width, wanting to really put on as many points as you can, and then defensively hoping that you're sound. So it is very much a surprise for me that the teams are conceding this much, but it could just as much be a positive thing that the teams are really trying to play with expansive game plan and really giving the ball as much air as possible.
Obviously, that's not the case between Hamilton and Tygerberg, with the short margin result that Hamilton's and Tygerberg had this weekend. But we will take a look, we'll have that conversation in a second. Let's take a look now at the match between Hamilton's and Tygerberg over the weekend, and then we'll speak to Hamilton's, is it assistant coach? Backline coach,
that's right.
Head coach, whatever.
Backline assistant, whatever you want to call it.
Everything, dog's body. General, everything. Hamilton's up against Tygerberg. Let's take a look at the highlights.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland.
Right, there we go, folks. Tygerberg going down to Hamilton's 15 points to 13. Morgs, let's just get this out the way. Anton Moorman was, of course, coach at Hamilton's. Did you guys have a nice little bit of social activity there?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Muli's been a coach. He was my coach for a long time, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So no, there's no. I mean, great mates away from the forward lines. But obviously on Saturday he came with a team that wanted to pick up a result, you know, and that's such a test match feel to it, you know. Both teams desperate to pick up a result, you know. Tygerberg have lost 1 or 2, Hammers have also lost 1 or 2, and it's just, you know, to kickstart your season, you just need to get that first victory. And
well, we were saying that Hamilton's kind of just needs to find its momentum a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's no secret that Hammies are going through a bit of transition, you know, as in I'm a new coach, a number of new players that are there, and finding our feet now, finally, I think, you know, and sometimes to turn the corner, you just need a result like this, you know, an ugly win, close margin, and then kickstart you onto bigger things, hopefully. But
having said that, looking at those two teams there, 15-13 is a narrow margin. What strikes me there is just the quality of the play. The set pieces, proper lineouts, proper scrums. It really does look well structured.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Super League, like you say, has advanced a fair amount, you know, over the years. It's no longer just get the ball into play and off you go, you know. So there's a fair amount of analysis that takes place, you know, during the week leading up to a game, and the teams are focusing on that. So lineouts, we expect lineouts, you know, we expect 8 to 9 out of 10. Line-out statistics, and you expect to contest well, you know where teams are going to throw. You expect to scrum well and have a nice platform for your backs to attack and so forth. So a lot of emphasis gets placed on it. Players don't always do it. Players don't always take as much interest in it as the coaches do, but good quality test match rugby, it's good, you know. We are technically the stepping stone to greater things, and we are there as a club to serve these players and give the players the best possible opportunity to go out and play for provincial teams in the 100%.
Future. That's what we're looking. We're looking to see which of these boys are going to come through the ranks. Right, folks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, you see them behind me. Look for that logo. MChem 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of Durban Road and the N1. You see big sign on the left-hand side as you drive up the N1 heading into town, and on the right-hand side as you're coming out of town. Free parking, there's a fantastic coffee shop up there, and really anything you need at great prices. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at False Bay up against NTK. Right, welcome back everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you win yourself a case of SCORE 33090. That's all you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090. You go in the mix to win a case of SCORE and a set of double tickets to Newlands this weekend. Let's take a look now at the highlights between False Bay and NTK.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and Dulux Maitland.
Morgan Newman, the question I've got for you, and it's a very quick question. Surely this is a little bit of an unbalanced score. A big win for False Bay. I'm not going to give the numbers. NTK could have done better.
Yeah, I mean, look, just from what I've watched, I mean, I also saw the video. I saw this game, and unfortunately, you've got to make your tackles. And that for me is a heart. That's a desire. That's a team culture. That's an ethos. You can have all the plans in the world. You can be the best coach in the world, but if your players don't want to put their bodies on the line and just make tackles and throw yourselves at tackles, then you're going to get results like that. And I think. Obviously NNK got to go back to the drawing board, the old saying goes. But you can come up with all the plans in the world. You can put players in positions on the field, but if you don't want to make your tackle, if you don't want to put your body on the line and go make a tackle, then you're going to get results like this.
We'll take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the other leagues' results, logs, and fixtures. Back in a sec. Folks, we always try not to talk about these big results where there are such enormous margins, but that's how the club structure goes, and eventually it does balance itself out. Let's take a look at the other results then, or the summary of the results in Super League A. Union Mill then going down to Durban 42-39. It was a win for Brackenfell over Villages, 29-23. False Bay with that big win, 99-11 over NTK. And Hamilton's with a 2-point win over Tygerberg. Then moving into Super League B, let's take a look at the results in Super League B. All Saints with a win over Young Peoples, 24-22. 67-17 for Kales River over Busy Bees. Goodwood going down to Belleville, 35-26. Hamlet's Fransch Hook, 19-15. Helderberg, 31-24 over Belhar. And then St. George's with a 48-18 win, as you saw earlier on, a win over Macassar. The one that jumps out for me there, and the one that we sort of did predict, it was the Fransch Hook with the log leaders, of course, Morgs, in Super League B. They had to travel to Hamlet's. And Hamlet's, as we said last week, can always be a surprise. And what did we get? Go to Hamlet's, travel a long distance. Great win for Hamlet's over Fransch Hook.
Yeah, that Hamlet side at home are going to pick up some big scalps, isn't it, James? I mean, they're doing something in terms of their home ground. They're taking the home ground advantage tag and really making use of it. They're using that as a 16th player. And, yeah, big result there. I mean, to take on table toppers is but again, when you sit at the top of the table, everybody's coming for you.
Yeah, you can't, and you're not necessarily going to win every game.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look then. As we said, the results in Super League C. Young Wesley's going down to Kraaifontein, 31 points to 8. Blue Stars drawing with Strand, 25-25. It was a win for Scottsdene over Kylemore. Morningstar went up over Blue Jets, Peniel Villages with a 50 points to 12 win over Elsie's, and Wraithby going down to Lunga, 35 points to 13. The one that jumps out there for me, folks, which is an interesting result, is that this week we knew Scottsdene would go to the top of the table in Super League C, jump over Hands and Hearts. Hands and Hearts, of course, had a bye this weekend, and Scottsdene are your new log leaders in Super League C. Let's take a look at the results now in the City League. And it was a Temperance going down to Police 63 points to 0, while Progress went down to Masipumalele 50 points to 0. I'm going to skip any discussions on that topic there, Morgs. Both these teams playing off home ground at City Park and could have done better. Let's take a look at the results in the Northern League, folks. Whistling Wheels 29-28 over Delft. And then Blake's with a 56-19 win over Vindmill United. Eerste Rivier with a win over Van der Stel, and Silurians with a win over Stelkor. Right, let's take a look at the results in the Southern League. And there it was Peninsula with a win over Rocklands. And of course, Peninsula now stays at the top of the Southern League. They remain there as the log leaders. Other results, of course, this weekend, Simonsburg region with a win there for Visantegral, 28-17 over the Gordon Leopards. Fixtures then this weekend, folks. Some enormous fixtures coming up again this weekend. Tygerberg up against Durban, Villages up against False Bay, Paarl up against Hamilton's, NTK up against Union Mill. Morgs, what jumps out there for you?
Sure, James. It's going to be interesting. I mean, again, Tygerberg again, you know, a side that can take up some big scalps, and they're going to be struggling against Durban. So Durban coming off a good result of a Unimill, that's a big one. Hammies are heading all the way to Paul. Paul will be looking to pick up a result. You know, Hammies haven't had the best of years this year, so I think Paul may just think there's an outside chance of a potential victory. But
what does Hammy think?
But we've prepared well, Japes, and we've put in the work. But again, no fixture in Super League A is one that you can no fixture is a walkover.
Yeah.
And the teams are putting in the work, and it's going to be interesting, you know. I mean, the league has just started, and we're already looking at top 6, and we're already looking at big matchups and so forth. So, interesting times, but I want to sit here again next week and see how the results go. Very reluctant to comment right now, James.
All right, let's take a look then. Morgan Newman, we'll leave him off the Super League A hotspot. Let's take a look at the fixtures coming up in Super League B this weekend. It's Young People's up against St. George's, Macassar and Kales River, Busy Bees and Hamlets, and of course Belleville and Franschhoek. All right, a few interesting points there, Morgs. Macassar will be bouncing back after this match we just watched, St. George's, and they'll be taking on Kales River. Will they bounce back?
Well, with the second half performance like they did put in, you know, this past weekend against St. George's, I think that they may be a little bit more optimistic, and that's where this optimism often can breed some sort of excitement, and hopefully they can kickstart that game well. Then they can look at picking up a big result.
Other interesting match is Franschhoek. As we saw, they just travelled to Hamlets. Didn't go their way. Hamlets coming away with a win there. But one of the dark horse teams this year has been Belleville. Now this weekend, Franschhoek are travelling to Belleville. So the log leaders have to now go and tackle a very tough outfit. Will they be able to turn around, or will the Hamlets loss be something that could potentially be in the crop, getting stuck?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, that's the reality of this. What their coaches will definitely be thinking is, you know, you don't pick up a result against Hamlets. Now you're going to Belleville. If they picked up a nice, comfortable result over Hamlets, then you go to Belleville with a little bit more confidence. The pressure's off.
Yeah.
Now the pressure's at its heightened state. Now you got to go play Belleville. Definitely got to pick up a result. You can't go back-to-back losses if you're sitting at the top of the league.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a difficult ball game altogether. So, you know, sure, I don't want to call any of these games this weekend.
Well, after the log, Belleville still have got 4 games. At least they've got 2 games in hand. Of course, Kales River, in fact, are now at the top of the log in Super League B, folks. Let me just make that correction. Followed by Franschhoek. Of course, Franschhoek just dropped down, but they're on equal log points at the moment. Kales River sitting on 22 points, Franschhoek on 22 points, Helderberg on 21, St. George's on 21, Belleville on 20. There's only a 2-point difference between the top 5 teams in Super League B. We said that before, that Super League B is the league of death. It's very close in Super League B. Belleville still have 2 games in hand compared to Franschhoek and Helderberg. And Belleville is certainly doing well with more than 162 points in their favour. Let's take a look at the result fixtures coming now in Super League C this weekend. And it's Elsies up against Scottsdene, Blue Jets against Hands and Hearts, Young Wesley's take on Lunga Wraithby, take on Strand, Peniel Villages up against Blue Stars United, and Morning Star up against Kylemore. So we've got some really interesting challenges there. Morgs, the matches, I suppose, there that we're going to be looking for some bounce backs, if you want to call it that, is, well, not bounce backs, but I would imagine that Scottsdene will want to keep their winning momentum after they're now moving to the top of the log there. But Elsies will be a little bit concerned after their loss that they're now up against the log leaders this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, again, there you see simply it doesn't get any easier. And, you know, Elsies River backs to the wall. Sometimes a wounded
buffalo.
A wounded buffalo is sometimes a dangerous one, you know. So never not going to get easy, and against a tabletop is not easy. But again, sure. I mean, isn't it just fantastic that we have across the board massive fixtures to look forward to? No one, very difficult to call across the board. And if you're a betting man, I wouldn't put money on either team this week.
All right, well, it's going to be pretty close. Let's take a look at the fixtures. I'm looking on my app here, folks, on the phone. This is why I'm a little bit slower tonight. Let's take a look at the fixtures in the City League this weekend. There's only 2. It's Police against Young Ideas, and the unbeaten Masi Pumelele take on Western Zebras. All right, this, of course, Masi Pumelele stays at the top of the log in the City League, followed by Violets, Hamadias, Police, Gardens, and Progress. So Gardens doing really well there, but only 2 fixtures in the City League then. In the Northern League, we'll see that it's Solarians are up against Van der Stel this weekend. And it's Whistling Wheels up against Windmill United. Stelkor take on Albions. Delft take on Imikawi. Blakes take on Khayelitsha. In the Southern League, it's Rocklands up against Noordlikes, Peninsula and Young Brothers, Lagunia and Atlantis. And then, of course, in the Paarl region, we see Young Gardens up against Paarl Rangers, Violets Paarl up against Lower Paarl, Simonium and Young Standards, Peril United and Riverstones. Right, those are your fixtures this weekend, folks. Of course, remember, if you've got any games, you can send them in to us. We're looking forward to having that. But a lot of exciting rugby fixtures this weekend. Don't forget the Score Energy Drinks competition, 33090. Send the word SCORE to 33090 and you can win yourself a case of SCORE and possibly put yourself in the mix to win a set of double tickets to go to Newlands this weekend. Morgan Newman, the Paarl region is where you are traveling to this weekend, but they are not going to be a walk in the park. This is a team that's looking to put their name down in Super League A and make sure they stay here.
Yeah, 100%. One or two ex-Hammies guys playing down at Paarl, Freddie Miller and the likes.
Oh,
so they'll be coming for us, but nice to be heading down to Paarl. We haven't in Super League A headed down to Paarl in a long time. So
Freddie Miller, one of my favorite fly-offs of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You certainly are going to have your work cut out for you.
I know.
Morgan Newman, thanks for joining me on Cape Rugby TV. It's been fantastic having you here, and we hope to get you back soon.
Always a pleasure, Jabs. Available anytime. Let me know.
Yeah, we catch you on Good Hope FM on the Drive Show, 3 to 6, Monday to Friday.
That's correct.
And on the Breakfast Show on Saturday.
Yeah, we talk a bit of club rugby there. I try and touch on some club rugby stuff. So maybe we get you on in the week and chat some more club rugby, dissect what's happening, and talk fixtures.
Always exciting. Always fun. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. Have yourself a fantastic rugby weekend, and we'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and the Dulux Maitland.